Bachelor update.
Big update, big update. The biggest update is that I am watching it. I'm watching The Bachelor now in support of my partner, Suge. Suge, you told me about this last week that you started watching it, and I was just like, oh, okay. I had no idea why you were like motivated to watch it. So I was just like, you watched The
Yeah.
Bachelor? And I was like kind of like busting your chops, and then I was like, oh, okay, oh, I get it. And then now I know what the backstory to it was. The first time I watched it. So now
hmm
I met Matt. You were saying that he's like the first it was the first ever like biracial black man who was the Bachelor.
Yeah.
So I got to jump back in. I got jump into it, and you're the reason why I'm watching it. So I wouldn't have watched it without us like watching it because of the show. So I was into it. Reality fan. Um, what did you think about the first uh segment of the show with it was 24 ladies, and he picked someone for a long date.
Yeah, he picked Bree, who, they got to sit down and talk, and come to find out, like, Bree was raised by like a single mother her whole life. And I guess throughout her like adolescence and until she was like an adult, like her mom was basically committed to like just her. Like she didn't used to date or had boyfriends or nothing like that. And then she like revealed to him that her mom actually started dating somebody in her later life, got married, and basically has more children now. And she kind of felt like she kind of felt like left out, or she felt like her mom started a whole new family like without her. So they kind of like broke down that, like, she kind of like came out with that, so they kind of got to like talk about that, and he got to like know her better. But I've been keeping track. The first night, like, I'm not good with like names, so I just had to kind of like jot down like the thing about them that I liked. And then this week I got to like kind of like, while I'm watching, I'm like, oh yeah, that's her name, blah 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 blah. So, I got the people that the women that I like so far. I kind of got them jotted down in two different categories. So I got like the ones whose vibes I'm feeling. So I got 9 women in that category. And then I got a next category, which is I don't know them, but they're fine. Like they look good. And that's basically because either like I ain't really like he they ain't really like have their the thing where you get to know them and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
like you see their faces and you're like, damn, like she's fine. And then also the ones that like they look good, but like I don't know if I like them already. So Mike, you watched the first episode and the second episode, or you just watched the
no,
second?
that's the whole point. Is I only watched the second one. First off, they're an hour and a half because there's 2 hours on TV, but I watched the second one, and what I can tell you is that there's two people highlighted. It was
Right,
Bree, 24, which was a lovely day. It started off kind of a little crazy.
right,
Jealousy ensued, but it was ATV, like showing he's an outdoorsman, like they're in the country, they're going through the woods and stuff, and then they're doing the whole typical hot tub and the thing. And then they have this like crazy, like really like deep conversation, and she's revealing all this stuff about herself. A lot of things that I can, I liked. I couldn't, kind of relate to a lot of that stuff. And at the same time, they cut back to the cabin or the mansion where one lady said, "This is where I want to fall in love." Yeah, because it's a fantasy land. But I'm joking. But there's one person that is like they're building as a TV guy. They're building this thing where Bree is, you know, a great. She got the first rose, I believe, in episode one, right?
yeah.
She got the rose first. She got the first solo date out of 24. The
Well,
23 other ladies.
they had an episode before then that he kind of did the same thing. So
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah,
So basically, there's another one. It's Victoria, Queen Victoria. Usually they say what job you have or what your aspiration is, and it just says Queen and it's Victoria. She's kind of like the opposite end of it. And so basically, when he's having this great conversation, at the other end of it, it's the rest. It's the 23 other ones who are competing for love. That's the other conflict. That's the conflict of the show, and they didn't really. It's very hard because this is the first year they had 24 suitors or like 24 contestants on
Well,
the show. I
they
believe.
started off with 32.
Oh my own.
Yeah,
I didn't know
so
that. Oh, I didn't know that. So anyway, so like usually I think it was a fight in the teens, and that is so much information for one episode. How to like create a character, how to like elaborate on who someone is, just with not a lower third on the bottom of the screen. Um, so you've seen more in the episode one. You saw more about the people. My favorite. I don't know anything about her now. Just say I during the whole capture the flag. I like MJ. MJ's my gal.
yeah,
So
she
we'll learn more
she
about
she's
her.
she's one of the ones I like because she showed up like the first episode, like again, like I had to like catch up with the names in the second one. So I had her written down as Shorty with the pizza. And then I found out, like I realized her name was MJ because she showed up in the first episode with a box of pizza. And she
Oh
was
my
like,
lady,
like I know like the way to a man's heart is through food. So I brought this pizza for you. And I was like, all right,
that's
that's
cute.
fly. That shows like a little bit of some
Creativity.
moxie, some creativity. But talking about Victoria, so
Mm.
she, like I'm watching the show, and Mike
Mm-mm.
says, he's worked in the reality TV business, and you could already tell, like she's like she's the person like the producers are keeping on the show, because
Mm-hmm.
there's really nothing to like about her. Like even if like I would be like, I mean, I don't know, because that's another thing I got from Matt too. I'm like, I tweeted about it. I was like, damn, they finally get a black man on here, and like they pick like one of the more like boring, like lamest like black guys you could find. Cause no offense, Matt, I appreciate you. You're I'm living vicariously through you, and you're a hero to me a little bit. But I'm just like, dog, you're like a little bit boring. But Victoria, like she's you could tell like she's definitely there for the like the reality TV moments. Like you need that like troublemaker, you need that pot stirrer, or you know all of those
Shit stirrer,
buzzwords.
and she's from LA too. I know about is Queen. Like I said, the Queen, like that's like the name. So
Yeah,
basically, like, what's your aspiration? What's your job? What's your career? And she picked Queen. So obviously, not even like being like being silly, like, oh, I'm gonna put this on here. No, she actually, this is her job, is to be this character,
yeah.
and
Like
she's a much
everybody else's shit is like real estate agent, uh, marketing specialist. Like hers just says
yeah,
queen.
home care, and things like that. Like,
Yeah. And the thing with her, like, so obviously I'm like disenamored with her, and then like I go on Twitter and I'm scrolling through pictures, and somebody brings up like posts a picture of her Instagram, right? So on the show, like she's not really like good looking or whatever. Like she has bags on her eyes, like it's weird. But like in the picture on her Instagram, like she actually looks kind of cute. So there
mhm.
you go, people. Instagram is a goddamn lie. But somebody like I'm realizing like they're not posting it just to show her. Like they zoom in the background, and like there's a stool with something like draped over the stool, and like when you look closer, like Mike, I'll give you one guess what it is. Like you could get it wrong, but I'm
Dildo.
well. Somebody showed up with a dildo in the first episode, and she actually was number one on my list. But it was a MAGA flag, a MAGA like Trump flag
All
draped
right.
over her thing,
Okay.
and people were like, "Matt, no." It was like Matt dot 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 no, not her or something like that.
Wait,
I'm like, yeah. I read it and I retweeted.
when's
I
it?
was like, no, now it makes sense. It makes sense like
So
why she is the way she is.
when's the photo from? Now?
I have no
Like,
idea.
is it a new? Because they filmed this obviously in like October, you know. So it's already shot. It's in the can, as they say. Um, I'm shocked by that. I thought it should be more of like a I don't know. I don't know. LA, like oh, it's weird.
Anaheim, California is was one of the hotbeds for the Ku Klux Klan in the 1920s.
1920s.
Resurgence, Michael. Yeah, like
Oh,
Southern
there we go.
California is one of the more racist places.
Guess
If
why?
you didn't know,
Because everyone fled to the uncharted West because they can get away with anything they wanted to get away with. This is we talked about this on our show before. I said that a movie reunited the KKK, the Birth of a Nation in Indiana. We talked about that. I didn't know about that though. I didn't know Anaheim was like that crazy. Um, yeah. So the first date started off crazy though. Like like you do like a off track, ATV. What do you think about that? Like the first thing, the first date is an ATV thing.
yeah, and it was
And as a
funny.
black man, like, come on. I don't be like stereotypical,
I
but
mean, like ATVs are fun. Like riding them. I
I
did
would
it.
like to do it.
I did it in Mexico. It was fun as hell. But like I was watching it and I was just like, I was trying to one like he's like going fast as hell and like she could barely like move it. And I'm just thinking, I was like, damn, if I was on a date, like I would like go slow and I'd be trying to like
Yeah.
show her how to do it. But then I'm sitting there watching that shit and I'm like, I thought it was weird when I was watching it, and then like after I watched it, I was like, at the end of the day, like I do that because I'm trying to like impress her, but she has to impress him on this show. That's the interesting dynamic of the show. I'm
Yeah.
like, he's the prize, so like I mean, I would love to be in our position, like where a woman has to impress me, but like that's why I realized like he was like, all right, like I don't gotta go slow for her ass, like she better keep up if she want
Yeah.
this damn rose.
I think he should have did it with three of them. Like picked at least three and then do the same thing and see what the outcome is. Because I'd be like, what I would have done would be like, oh, I would have pulled over and like try to like, damn, it's not working. It's not working. And I would have seen like a girl like hurry up, like different personalities, like one like, oh, I can help you out, and the girl who tries to help out, and the girl who actually knows how to like fix it, just like find out different, like, just that one person. Does that make sense? Like you can pretend like you don't know what you're doing. Oh, like you like, oh man, I think I jammed up. Do you know anything about this? If you're into ATVs and shit,
Well, I mean,
it,
the format of the show is like they have to have he has to have like one on one date. I think he had two on
yeah,
this episode. So and then
yeah,
a
yeah, it
group
was two.
date because the last episode he took the one girl on a plane. He took her
Plane.
on
That
like
was the
a
same episode. Biplane.
yeah. There you
But
go.
that's what I said. I actually I wrote it down. I go Shug. I just saw an ad. I wrote it down, but I didn't send it to you. I was like, I just saw a casting. Do you think you could be the next Bachelor? And then I the next
Not if
segment
they
was
got me freaking in a damn small ass plane like
no.
that.
So the next segment was I go, have you ever sat on a first date? So you know how to fly a biplane? Like no,
Yeah,
like you cannot. I'm pretty sure these guys are like that made me laugh. I
yeah,
watched this in the first. It's funny. Um, it's just like, of course, it's always going to be like next episode's going to be like, roller coaster ride and like things like it's always an event. It's TV and stuff. I'm just trying to bring it back to like real life, like like actual first dates and stuff. But of course, this is the show. At this point, this show is going to go on for a while. They obviously added more people to it because they're going to have this. They're going to prolong it because there's less actual like produced shows like actual shows, not reality shows.
yeah.
So this is going to go on for a while, probably till like April, or because I don't know, but the dance show will come back to that's ABC's schedule, but I think maybe they'll do like what Big Brother did it as well. I'm a Big Brother guy, the Big Brother fan. They had more people this year, and then they like at the end, just like evicted like 5 people in like 1 week. So I think with this show, they're gonna like have all these different women, and then when it gets closer down to final 10,
Mm-hmm.
no, they'll cut down 16 to 10, and like maybe like they'll have a double episode. Like I know it's 2 hours, but they'll definitely cut a lot of women in like one episode, which is going to be like drastic, and he's going to be like crying and all that stuff like that. It's going to be, but you never know, because this show is very weird, because there was a time where someone picked someone mid-year, right?
Oh yeah, on the Bachelorette, I think that happened this past season.
Yeah, so you never know. Like it's like, how do it's a show, of course, but
But I don't know if they could do that because if you replace him, like you gotta replace him with like another like brother. You can't like
yeah, that
replace him with
I
another white guy. Like, haha.
no. The whole point is like if they have more women now,
Yeah.
they could just the show would keep going the same amount of time. They just edit it differently, and then out of nowhere they'd be like, "Oh, I picked this woman to be my wife," and then the next 3 episodes will be them like getting ready. They can dip into the 90 day, the Married at First Sight, because that's the shows I watch. I watch those shows, but like they can dip into that, or like them getting ready to get married and stuff. That's just, it's a very interesting dynamic now, because there's no like set template, because of I know in LA they just started production again with like shows, um but they filmed this in like Wyoming, or what was it, somewhere like different. I don't know, but anyway, what I'm saying is that I'm gonna see how this goes. I'm interested in this because obviously, like, it's like if you're watching it, I'm watching it. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
obviously, there's like, it's good to talk
Yeah.
about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So like my whole takeaway from this week as opposed to last week. Like last week, you got introduced to like everybody, so this week you kind of like knew who you like, who you dislike, and the people like you haven't really gotten to know yet. It ended up on a little bit of cliffhanger during the rose ceremony, so some people got roses, but you didn't see who got eliminated yet. So that's gonna be coming up this following Monday, perhaps tonight when this drops. But my takeaway is just like I was just like, man, this guy's like boring. Like he's kind of like lame, and I haven't watched the rest of the other Bachelors. Obviously, as I'm saying like a broken record, but all these guys are like kind of like good looking, but they're not really like I'd assume that not too many of them are like charming. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have they don't have like a personality and stuff like that, and that's why I was trying to wonder why I liked, you know, Flavor of Love, For the Love of Ray J, and I didn't really
Bret
watch
Michaels,
it, but the one with Brett Michaels, because these guys were
Rock
like,
of Love.
yeah, Rock of Love, and these guys were like,
You love me?
they
Yeah,
were,
that was no joke. Like, you really love me? Yeah, I love you. You really? Bret Michaels is like, really? And he's like, he believes it. So weird, like, what I mean? Remember that was fun shit though back then, but this is
yeah.
different. This is
It's
more like
it's a
legit.
lot on the women, and even like the episodes of like the Bachelorette I did watch. I'm like, the guys themselves, like it's hard because like the women got to be the entertainment, and then when you're on the Bachelorette and it's guys competing for a girl for the woman, like those guys are boring too. So it's like,
Well, I think every once in a while they have a guy who's kind of like wacky and crazy, who gets like kicked off like
yeah,
early on. Then he becomes the Bachelor. Sometimes I think he becomes like, because like I peripherally, like peripheral, I see like people watch it,
yeah,
and I know that sometimes like people are like they become, and then I know where you see them on People Magazine. It's like they're like on the Twitter, and they're like, oh, the guy from The Bachelor. Like, who is this guy? I don't know. People care about him apparently. He's
yeah. I mean,
he's
like I think like from all of these updates, like all people are gonna get from me is me subliminally like campaigning to be the next Bachelor, because I'm like, you need somebody like me on there, like on these dates. Because first of all, like I would really be like, you walk in. If I walked into a house with all of those women, I'd be like, damn, I don't know how I'm gonna pick these. Like every other week, like you'd see me like fall in love with like somebody else, and like I'll be interested as hell. Like this is like, no offense to Matt, man. Like you seem like a cool dude. I don't have nothing against you, but you just like, I hope you you know get a little bit more, charming, and like, because people confuse like charm with like good looks. Like charm is just like, somebody like, all right, like I like this guy, like his vibe, his whole vibe, and like I just, he doesn't have that. So hopefully, like, as we get deeper into the season, like I'm like, oh, all right, like this guy got like some dimensions to him. Like he just seems kind of one dimensional now.
Well, Bree has had a deep conversation. He just like nodded and then made out with her when he was like telling him about it. She was
Yeah.
telling about it, and I was like,
Oh, you feel abandoned by your mother? Okay.
"Ah, let me get you in the
Okay.
jacuzzi, okay, buddy? Jesus." All right.
Yeah.